Here's something that should stop you in your tracks. Imagine a disease that literally turns your lungs into stone, and it's happening to workers around the world right now just from breathing in dust at their jobs. That's such a haunting way to describe silicosis. And what really gets me is that we've known about this condition for centuries, yet workers are still getting sick from it today. Well, let me tell you about how sneaky this disease is. These crystalline silica particles are so tiny, less than 10 micrometers, they slip right past our body's defenses like invisible assassins. It's almost like a microscopic Trojan horse. These particles, found in such common materials as sand and rock, make their way deep into the lungs where they do their damage. You know what's fascinating? When our immune system tries to fight back, it actually makes things worse. The macrophages, our cellular security guards, try to engulf these particles but end up dying in the process, releasing all these inflammatory chemicals that start a vicious cycle. So, what exactly happens to the lung tissue over time? I mean, we're talking about actual physical changes. Yes, and this is where it gets really interesting. These things called silicotic nodules form, with layers of collagen wrapping around like an onion under a polarized microscope. The silica crystals actually sparkle like tiny stars, beautiful but deadly. That's exactly the kind of detail that makes this so fascinating and terrifying at the same time. And these nodules aren't just sitting there static, are they? No way. They're actually growing and merging over time, forming what doctors call progressive massive fibrosis. And get this, there are three different forms of the disease. The chronic form takes 10 to 20 years to develop, but the acute form, that can happen in just months with heavy exposure. Well, that explains why it's such a silent killer. By the time someone notices symptoms, the damage is already done. And here's where it gets really concerning. The early symptoms are so easy to dismiss: a dry cough, getting winded easily, feeling tired. But by the time someone develops blue tinted skin or clubbed fingers, we're talking about serious permanent damage. And there's no way to reverse it once the damage is done. Once those lungs are scarred, that's it. The best doctors can do is try to prevent further damage and manage symptoms. And here's something that really shocked me: silicosis patients are way more susceptible to tuberculosis, so much so that they have a special term for it: silicotuberculosis. You know, that reminds me of something I read about the economic impact. We're talking about workers in mining, construction, even jewelry making, people who often can't afford to just quit their jobs when they start getting sick. And that's such a crucial point. In many developing countries, workers have to choose between their health and feeding their families. And even in countries with strict regulations, we still see cases because of inadequate protection or poor enforcement. Well, that really brings home why prevention is so important: proper ventilation, wet cutting techniques, appropriate masks. Such simple solutions could prevent so much suffering. And you know what's really striking? The way this disease disproportionately affects certain communities. We're talking about an invisible epidemic that's been going on for generations, particularly in mining communities and industrial areas. That's what makes this such an important story to tell. It's not just about medical facts, it's about human rights and workplace safety. Like, just think about all those beautiful buildings and bridges we see every day. Behind each one, there might be workers who've been exposed to silica dust. It's a hidden cost of progress that we rarely think about. that really puts things in perspective. How something as simple as proper safety equipment could be the difference between life and death. And that's really the bottom line here. Silicosis isn't just a medical condition, it's a wake up call about workplace safety and the real human cost of cutting corners. Every new case represents a preventable tragedy that we should have learned how to stop by now. Those are powerful closing thoughts. Really makes you think about the true price we pay for progress when we don't prioritize worker safety.